Okay guys, we'll get to the shop in a little bit, but right now, all of the ideas that have come to me about doing this kind of a concept of teaching, they ironically came about, they were sort of in development that I would like to teach you guys the science so that you can be more efficient with your understanding of the trades, color, and everything of this nature. But at the same time, what I realized is information is no good if you don't have anyone who can digest it and learn from it. And what I admire from certain speakers is their ability to speak to people from like age 4 to 80. And so, because I've done a lot of teaching in my past, I decided to integrate what I know of the trades with the science so that you guys can understand stuff better. Even though you did not go to college, there's no reason you can't conduct yourself as someone who has the same level of intelligence. The degree is nothing. The process is what you're doing. You're teaching yourself how to learn to talk more articulately to impress those customers that are in your niche. Everyone has a different customer for their own niche. But in order for you to get ahead, especially those that stain floors or stain wood of any kind, you really need to understand color, how it works. I mean, we can get into the physics, but I don't want to get this too nerded out. But I do want this to be so that anyone can understand it. Now, I built this lesson using the science of life. And in order, all right, so back up, sorry. Those people who stain floors for a living, what you need to understand is you're going to basically become a color specialist of what you do. And in order to become a really good color specialist, someone that knows color very well, like Sherwin Zabala of downtown Floor Supply in New York, it's my homie, okay? So let's talk about science. This lesson, the source, surroundings, and medium, okay? No one considers this when they build color or talk about color. I've been in projects with interior designers who were trying to choose colors before there were lights installed in the kitchen. So my point is not to make fun of someone. My point is to tell you that not everyone is an expert despite their title. You, as the artisan, not just the guy who takes orders and does stuff, you need to be capable of articulating to your customer exactly how to get the right color every time in the most expedited manner. If you are not capable of that, then every time you step out there, people are going to A, encumber your time, and B, they're going to frustrate you. And you're going to chase color trying to be the hottest guy that makes all the coolest colors. We're going to talk about all this, but all right. Science of light and color. Now my example begins here on Earth. All right. If anyone is a flat earther, please, I don't want to even get into these discussions. My example is based upon people who believe Earth is round. Okay. Now, the sun broadcasts rays of light. Those rays of light are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. As the sun rises, those rays come around the sphere of Earth, and we can see red first in the morning, and then we end up with blue skies through the day. Now in the evening, the process reverses. So red is basically our ending color as the sun's going away around Earth, and we see these colors backwards. It's just the way light works. Prismatic effect. I didn't create the sun in color, but I have to say that understanding it is useful. Also, this is the origin of red skies at night, sailor's delight. What was this saying and what did it mean? Well, I predict, my theory is that it is a reference to the clarity of the skies and how long the red stayed in the sky and how far was somewhat predictive as a measure of how clear things were ahead. So go to the red skies. That's what the sailors did. Because when it became night, they only had stars to navigate by. They didn't have GPS. So this is also good for if you're into orientation and sun and angles, okay? All right, enough of that. Now, light enters a home, and that light can enter through windows through the sun or direct sources inside of the house, ambient sources, etc. These all affect your color and what samples you get. If you make all of your samples as a wood floor contractor outside of the house and you bring them in to Miss Smith or Miss Jones and put them in a hallway, you're never going to probably get it right until eventually she's probably going to go, all right, that looks good enough. You don't want to be known as the good enough contractor. You want to be the guy that can deliver exactly everything accurately all the time while being humble about it, okay? So, things that affect light. Interior light sources vary in how they broadcast light. Some of these spotlights beam on your floor. They show everything. And actually, because they don't broadcast, they kind of obscure color and create weird zones of color. I really feel like most architects and designers should take lighting and color courses regularly to keep up with this, because I've seen architects put 6 halogen or 12 halogen spotlights in a 6 staircase section of a staircase. It just was the most ridiculous thing. All it did put like glare on the treads. It's not a way to magnify wood. It's kind of a stupid thing, and I don't know. But anyway, let me not digress. Emission color. Light bulbs come in different emission colors, just like car headlights. Intensity. The wattage, how far does that light go, okay? And that can be affected by things that block the light, furniture, yada, yada, yada. The point here is that always create your samples in their final environs, meaning where's the floor going to be, and that's where the samples will be made. And if your builder or architect or designer refuses to turn on the lights or put anything in there and they're insisting things, then you have to have them do a color sign off and admit that they were the ones who chose the color. Because as soon as the lights get put into the house, let me tell you, it's going to be a different conversation that comes up with Ms. Jones. All right? Where are we now? All right, so now we've gotten through the science of light and color. Surroundings, we've talked about that. Now let's talk about medium. And medium relates specifically to the example I put out today. I had a custom color sample made, and I think it was made in a weird environment where people didn't have enough light to judge the color. It didn't come out right, but it came out wrong, not because of someone's fault that I say, but the correction is easier than the solution of chasing it down and getting more stain color made and da-da-da-da-da. It's dumb, okay? Medium. The depth, the thickness, all right? What I did is I drew a little piece of board right here. It's a great example. Let's magnify this piece of wood right here up. You have wood, and glue. Now, in this example of what I have, the actual veneer layer on here is maybe 1/64th of an inch of actual wood. It's probably a rotary peeled veneered wood put onto plywood. It's cheaper and they make more profit. As a result, there's less depth for color to penetrate into this piece of wood. So if you're doing veneered products and you're matching that to a solid tread, you must consider this. And the only way around this, which I'm not going to do this right now, I just wanted to talk color theory, and then I'll record and get off live and put together a YouTube video of how I'm going to actually do the mechanics of this. But today it was important to talk about the theory, how this stuff works, and why it can be confusing. One last thing is, okay, so you have only that small amount for the stain to penetrate into the wood. The only alternative, people say you can restain it, no, you cannot. There's only so far stain can penetrate before it hits glue. And stain is not going to go through glue and create an even dispersion of color, even if it makes it through the adhesive layer. So if you think that this is a joke, it's not a joke. The only way you can get a dark color once you've committed is to layer color over that above. And in fact, this is basically the trick that a lot of manufacturers do to give you a thinner veneer and a dark color. They spray lots of layered color into the floor. I will tell you that I think in some ways that affects elasticity and adhesion of the material to the wood if they don't prep the subsurface right. But I can't say anything that I wouldn't say in court, so you guys just think about that one. Last thing, choice blindness. People, I've been at convention for the National Wood Flooring Association, and I've heard people say, man, my record is 32 samples on a floor. And to which I say, man, you don't know what you're doing. Point blank. Beyond a certain threshold of choices, every person that exists on this earth gets confused and cannot see the fineness of gradation, right? And in fact, that works with color. People see color differently. Some people are hexachromatic, I think is what it's called, where they see like 4 colors to every one that someone else on average sees. So you must understand, this is what makes your engine of becoming a color specialist. I mean, Sherwin-Williams and all these people are color specialists. Why are you not a color specialist? We could teach this in like 15, 20 minutes. It makes sense. The bottom line to save yourself is make all your samples in the environments in which they created. Understand the medium with which you are working. And if you get backed in a corner, then you need to understand your alternatives to fix that. So all of my teachings are generally how not to get into trouble and do things. If anyone has questions, DM or comments, I'm going to take this, I'm actually recording it, put it on YouTube, we're going to chop it up, edit it, make it cool. If you're a kid or somebody that doesn't know science, tell me how I did, you know? Does this make sense? If you don't know about this, then I recommend that you wake up prior to the sun. I know that means you got to stop video games before 2 a.m. Wake up, go watch the sun, go watch it come up, watch its reflection. It's really cool. It is the most amazing practice of color that happens before your eyes. It literally puts physics into motion, seeing sunrises and sunsets. And I hope that's it. I'm going to show you guys on Instagram the shop. Turn off this recording.